From the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is the EntreLeadership podcast, where I take calls from leaders like you about what it takes to win at any stage of business and leadership. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, with over 30 years of experience leading in the trenches, running and growing a business right alongside you, just like you. If you've got a question and you want to talk small business, you want to talk leadership, you've got a question, we'll try to help you in this whole process. The phone number here is 844-944-1070, or you can fill out the form at EntreLeadership.com/ask. Again, call 844-944-1070. Leave us a voicemail. We'll get back to you. We'll make you one of the callers here on this show. We'd love to have you. To start this hour off is going to be Penny in Austin, Texas. Hi, Penny. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm doing great. It's an honor to speak with you.
You too. What's up?
So my question, well, I'll start with my business. So my husband and I own a small branding agency that specializes in luxury hotels and multifamily. We'll start our 15th year in November. We have 15 employees. Last year, we did about $2 million in revenue. We're forecasted to be down about 1.75 this year.
Down to 1.75 or down 1.75?
To 1.75.
Okay, so you're talking about a 10% drop. Okay, I feel better.
Yes.
I was about to lay everybody off. Okay, all right.
Exactly. So my question is about just weathering this economy. And, right now I have basically no margin because employees now cost more, but my clients' budgets haven't increased. So I'm kind of losing my margin. And how long do we kind of settle with weathering this economy before we start to make larger business moves to get the margin back in place?
Well, I think what you have to ascertain is what you're working with something that snaps back, or is this a permanent shift when you say, in quotes, this economy? So you're dealing with multifamily and boutique hotels, correct?
Yes, not just boutique. Some of them are larger brands as well.
So, and you're helping them with their branding.
Yes, so the brand strategy, how to get their ROI up, how to get a higher, room cost, and then multifamily is basically apartments. So developing the strategy behind leasing apartments.
And you've been doing this for how long?
15 years.
Okay, so which of these two areas are down? Both of them?
Multifamily is definitely down. I would say larger than hotels. Multifamily is just right now, they've had the increase in rents and people are not leasing like they once did. They're kind of combining households in a way. So we're seeing kind of the apartment developments really go down on their marketing budgets.
Okay. And what percentage of your client base or of your revenue is apartment versus hotel?
There's an ebb and flow to it. Right now, I would say it's probably 30%, but it can go up and completely reverse and be opposite on different years.
Okay. So if the increase in rents are driving people out of the multifamilies, is your supposition, thus their rent base is down, and because they increased rents, and now their rent base is down, the revenues are down, and so they're cutting their budget. So that is what you said, right?
Correct.
Okay, so if the real estate market starts booming again next spring, which is far from that right now, does that correct this?
It does.
Why? Because the rents don't come down.
Yeah, but their budgets come up.
Why?
And I do think, they'll do promotional to fill their occupancy, and they'll bring their costs down, even though it doesn't look like it on a month-to-month basis. They'll do, 2 months free with a new lease signing and that kind of stuff. So why
are they not doing that now?
They are starting to do that now.
Okay, so this is a temporary downturn.
I hope so.
Okay, all right. Well, Henry Cloud, my buddy, in his book Necessary Endings, and I have to look at this with business units here, product lines, actual individual products and things like that, is when you lose hope in something, getting better is when you end it. That's what I'm asking these questions, okay? And I haven't lost hope in this getting better based on the description you gave to me. I'm not an expert, you are, but the way you described it to me, this probably heals itself in the next 12 months.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Well, I've just been saying that for 6 to 9 months
Yeah,
already,
me too.
like,
I agree with you. Because, I mean, like, for instance, we've got the real estate, Ramsey Trusted Real Estate Agents, right? We got 2,000 or 3,000 of them around the nation, and we send them leads. That business unit is down because the number of people going through to buy houses right now is down.
Right.
And we keep going, well, next quarter, this is probably going to turn. We got an election year. Maybe it's going to turn. Oh, we got to, and then maybe spring it'll turn. And when these interest rates, and we keep looking at it going, but I do know I'm not going to end that business unit just because profits are down and revenues are down in that business unit over 3 years ago, because I have not lost hope in it coming back. Because as soon as the real estate market comes back, Ramsey Trusted is it booms like crazy, right?
Correct.
So I'm looking at it too through that lens. But yeah, I've kind of missed my real estate predictions like consecutively 2 years in a row. I didn't think this was going to run this long. I can't believe this economy is just screwed up. But it is. It's sitting in the doldrums, the real estate market anyway. But it's good if you're an individual out there. It's a good time to buy. If you're an individual out there, it's a great time to sell. I got a property for sale right now, and it's going to go great. I mean, but it's just there's not 83 people looking now. There's 8, that kind of thing. So what we're discussing here is when this is going to bounce back, and I don't think it's 5 years. I think it may not be 5 days. I think it's going to be 5 months or more, don't you?
I keep hearing everything about, Q1 2025, we'll see it open up. And the way things run from our business cycle is all the budgeting is kind of done right now, especially for our hotels. And so we're seeing a little bit more traction than normal. So
but let me tell you, if those hotels stack full and those apartments start renting like crazy because the market picks back up, you can go back to them and they're going to have an influx of cash that wasn't in their budget.
Right.
And they can sign up mid-year. They don't they don't only have one time a year they can sign up for your program.
Right.
If they're sitting on cash, you go, hey guys, the sun is back out. Let's make some hay. I can show you how to do that. Make hay while the sun shines. You know the saying, right? And so we're going to, you can reactivate that if you haven't run out of emotional steam to do it. And
that's kind of where
the thing those of us fight is we get weary as we wait on some of these things that are outside of our control. And don't let that weariness confuse you with, let's pretend instead that you were brand new and you said, I'm going to start a branding company in Austin, freaking Texas, which is on fire, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Oh, that's great. And you'd have all this excitement right now in spite of the fact that there's kind of some black clouds over those two particular areas at the moment. But black clouds are followed by sunshine. I think you're hanging on, but you need to manage your attitude in the process. I have to do that too, by the way. I get mad. You know what I mean? It's like, dadgummit! So, yeah, you got to manage your attitude in the process of fighting through these things. It's like fighting through the pandemic or fighting through this doldrums of the market. Now, I will tell you this. One other thing that is bouncing around in my head since I got on the phone with you is, if I'm you, I'm probably also using this to say, I need to be in some complementary businesses, meaning that are inverse of this, that are booming right now and that might be down when this is booming. You have two product lines that ride the same axis. And so you're always going to ride the up axis and the down axis on this one thing because your product line isn't well diversified. So if I'm you, I'm trying to have some things that are recession proof. Whatever. What are the types of branding you can do? Maybe it's individuals with Airbnb. What is it? I don't have any idea, but I mean, obviously you've got to do something to do with rooms. You're good at filling up rooms and pieces of real estate. So what can I get into that maybe banks need to move their real estate owned portfolio off the books in down times, and you can help them with the brand strategy on that. Banks have never been known to be good at brand anything or marketing anything except selling debt. So, I don't know. If I'm you, I'm looking to use this ouchie moment as a reason to have some other product lines that utilize our same talents and skills that are a little bit off the same axis. That's the only thing I'm seeing. That's not a huge criticism. That's 10% of this phone call. 90% of this phone call is, I think you're okay, hang on. I'm okay, I'm hanging on. And I got to watch my attitude in the process. That's 90% of this. That's how I'm going with this. Hey, you're a stud. Way to go, Penny. Proud of you. $2 million business, Austin, Texas, self-employed, 15 team members. You are living the dream. Remember that. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast. What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 different answers. Economic growth or a recession? Business taxes will go up or down. AI will help us work or replace us all. But there's no such thing as a crystal ball. That's why more than 38,000 businesses have future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud enterprise resource planning system. Ramsey Solutions, our company, uses NetSuite, and you should too. NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one platform. And with the one unified business management suite, there's one source of truth. For the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions, NetSuite's real-time insights and forecasting help you see into the future with actionable data. And when you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you spend less time looking backward and more time focusing on what's next. And speaking of what's next, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. It's free at netsuite.com/Ramsey. Hey, do you feel like you're running on empty? Kind of like Penny? She's run out of fuel a little bit, wasn't she? I've been there. I've been there on certain elements of this business in the last 20 minutes. If you're leading a business, it's no wonder. Business is hard. It's not for sissies, okay? It doesn't mean you should let yourself get burned out. Join me and the thousands of small business leaders in Denver next spring to refuel your leadership tank with life-changing insight from all of our speakers. Best-selling author of the world-famous book, Good to Great, my friend Jim Collins is going to be with us, boys and girls. Wow. You know what the chances are you get to hear Jim Collins live? Almost zero. Jim does not come out of his cave often. And if he sees his shadow, he doesn't come out for 6 more years. I love Jim. He is definitely an academic and an introvert. He tells me personally all the time he does not like leaving his room. But we got him to come, and he's really good. He's brilliant. Argument expert Jefferson Fisher and leadership expert John Maxwell, the grandpa of leadership, my buddy John. World heavyweight champion George Foreman. I never met George yet. I'm looking forward to this. The CEO of Seiko Designs, Liz Bohannon, and Seth Dillon. Seth from the Babylon Bee. He has the trademark on sarcasm font. It's fabulous. I'm kidding. By the end of the conference, you're going to be refreshed and equipped with new vision for your business. Mark your calendar. It's May 18 through 21 of 2025. Denver, baby. Get your tickets. Go to EntreLeadership.com/summit. Reserve your seats right now. They are almost gone, believe it or not. And if you're listening on YouTube or podcast, click the link in the show notes and you can reserve your seats. Colby is with us in Louisiana. Hi, Colby. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure. How can we help?
So I am the interim manager for my dad's business after he's passed away recently.
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened?
Cancer. So thank you.
How old was he?
Almost 65.
Wow. What kind of business?
Specialty electrical contracting.
Were you already working there?
I used to work for him years ago. I worked for him for a little over 5 years, but kind of part of my question, we decided that wasn't best for us to stay there long term. And but since he's passed, I've had to step in and try to handle the affairs to take care of what's going on.
Now, how long ago did he pass?
July of this year, so really a few months ago.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry. How old are you, Colby?
I am 35.
Okay. All right, cool. Did you just quit your full-time job and jump over there? What are you doing?
So I did take a little bit of time off, about a month and a half, almost 2 months, to, of course, take care of some of the other things going on and to kind of step into the business to learn and kind of reacquaint myself. But I actually do have another full-time position, and I'm only managing the business part-time as now.
Okay. How many team members in the business?
Not including myself or my mother. We have 5.
Your mom's down at the office? She's down at the office?
She's actually not actively in the business. No, she's the current shareholder, but she's not actively working in the business.
So she doesn't have any idea what's going on down there. You've had to go down there and figure it out.
She does have some idea because, my dad was very vocal about what he did and, I was very proud of what he did. But yes, currently it's just me, and we have a really good office manager that does great.
Okay, I'm sorry. So again, how many team members?
We have 5, not including myself.
Okay, cool. And what's the revenue on this?
Last year was about $1.4 million, and it can bounce around depending upon the projects that they've had.
And any specialty electrical contracting?
Yep. So there's kind of 2 sides. Home standby generators is a big part of the business. So the selling of new units and maintenance contracts for the ones that are in place. And then he's also very established in the telecom industry. So cellular tower work and a few special projects around that.
Okay. But most of the 1.4 is the generators.
It's actually almost half and half.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Probably 70-30. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Whew. Okay. I kind of got the picture. I kind of got the picture now. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for filling me in. What is your question? Yeah.
So, one of my dad's requests prior to his passing was asking for my help to sell the business, as you can imagine, to help take care of my mother in her future. And actually, this is what I do professionally. I work for a business broker as a consultant, but I don't necessarily specialize or have experience in contractors. I work in a different industry. And so I'm trying to get someone else's opinion on what I should do with the current scenarios that I'm looking at. I've got a key employee that has been with the business for 20 plus years. I think is a good candidate in terms of relationship with clients and knowing the business, but I'm not fully confident in their leadership skills or being able to manage the business and the day-to-day affairs. Mm-hmm. Or option number 2 is working with another business broker or someone else to help me prepare and sell to an outside party. Mm-hmm. And this is very emotional for me, as you can imagine. So I'm trying to get some other professional opinions on, other people's thoughts on what I can maybe do.
Yeah. So the net profits are what?
Well, that's another kind of problem. My dad managed it okay, but from what I was able to figure out, he managed it well enough to pay his own salary and a little bit of discretionary earnings. So after you take out his salary, and then probably a little bit of margin, there was maybe $150,000 in net profit.
But his salary was more than you would pay a manager to manage it.
It was right about what I pay a manager.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you got $150,000. Yep. So you valued it at what, 600?
600 plus the assets, yes.
Okay. All right. What are the assets?
The business owns the building and the property.
Yeah, that's a separate part. That's a piece of real estate, yeah.
Yeah, so the real estate, and then there's a schedule of vehicles and trailers and equipment.
Okay. All right. Yeah, they would go with the 600 probably. All right. Yeah, the real estate, carve that off and go, we're going to sell the real estate. Just get a real estate agent. The business, if the business wants to stay as a tenant, that's fine. You may want the business to stay as a tenant and your mom keep the real estate. But I would keep those separate.
Sure.
What is the real estate? Yeah, is it specialty real estate? Is it weird?
It's not. It's actually also distressed. It's not a great part of town. It's in a flood zone, so that's another consideration. So there is some market value, but it's not very great. Yeah,
but it's not. I would keep the real estate separate from the business. Okay, either if you want. Evaluation wise. All right. So we got $600,000 business, and we got a piece of real estate, and you can either buy the real estate or not buy the real estate, or we'll have an auction and sell it. Or if you want to, lease it back from mom, she could take the lease payment on the real estate. Whatever. I don't care. Yeah, that's fine. But that's first thing I would tell you to do. You got a good valuation on it. I'm not questioning that. So when you say plus the assets, I would separate the assets, in other words. Not the cars and trucks. You got to have those to run the business. They're part of the business, but the real estate's a separate transaction. Now, you're a business broker. You already know this. The best luck we've had with EntreLeadership clients selling a business is horizontal or vertical, meaning a customer or a supplier or a competitor. Horizontal is a competitor. A customer or a supplier is vertical. And so if there's a customer that's, big in cell phone towers that would like to own this and could absorb it into their operation, they may be a player, maybe one of your current customers or a former customer. Suppliers, in what you're describing to me, I doubt it, but there might be a local distributor of generators that would put this on the side and go, well, not only can we be a local distributor, but we're also going to do the install and the maintenance and take these contracts on. And so whoever you're buying the generators from might be a player, that kind of a thing. And then, of course, if there's a competitor, which is probably not a big line of those in this, but even if they're in a different city, you're in Lafayette, Louisiana, and so if you go to Monroe or you go to Baton Rouge or something like that and go, is there somebody up there that's a competitor that would want to have a branch office in Lafayette, right? That kind of thing. You already know how to do all that as a business broker, right?
Yeah. That's not really my concern. I think my main question is, like I said, I have a key employee who I think is eager to have the conversation, and we've had a few conversations to date, just not necessarily terms, versus going external.
What's the key employee make a year right now?
They have a salary, I want to say between 60 and 70, and then there's usually overtime.
Okay.
He's currently a foreman.
Okay. All right. And so it sounds like I'm reading into this, so you correct me, okay? It sounds like you don't think he has the chops.
I think he has some skills.
He's good at what he does, but he's not well-rounded enough to run the whole operation.
Correct.
That's what I meant. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And even in the interim, I've actually brought in a consultant like myself that does know contracting businesses in this industry to kind of help me get my hands on things for a few months. And so it's possible they could stay on to help him through a transition or maybe learn some of those skills.
Yeah.
But yeah, just signing papers and
what does what's the consultant make?
He charges about between $2,000 and $3,000 a month.
Okay. All right. Well, what you could propose is this: like, you have to keep the consultant on, and you have to give us 100% of the profits until we get to. You keep $70,000 a year, plus you keep the consultant on as an expense, and after those two bills are paid, you give us all the profits, which was your dad's old salary plus $150, until we get to $600, and you would get that.
Well, the $150 actually included my dad's salary, so it's about $100 plus $50 to $60.
Oh, okay. All right. So $150. So it's going to take you 4 years to pay us out, and then you can get rid of the consultant, or you can get rid of the consultant when you're able to take the training wheels off, whatever we want to do there. But at least for a year, you got to keep them on until you can get your operational guidance, and you have to agree to pay us 100% of profits above $70,000 and above the consultant until we get to $600.
Well, I think that's one of my fears, and maybe you could maybe talk me through this too, but I'm not sure I or my mother's willing to take the risk for 4 or 5 years for him to manage it, even with a consultant.
Okay. Then the only reason you would take that risk is if you don't have a better option.
Right.
If you have a buyer that's offering you $200 cash on the barrelhead, do you want to trade that for $600? Bird in the hand versus 3 in the nest. I don't know. You got to decide that, and that's really looking at that guy and going, what's his probability of success?
Right.
If he has a low probability of success, and the more I talk to you, the more I think he does. You don't think he does. You don't think he's got a high probability of success, the way you've talked about it 2 or 3 times now. So I'm starting to worry about him. But if you wanted to bet on him because the only other offers you've got are low ball cash, then that's the way you could structure it. And that would bring him into the fold. The other problem is if you bring in it doesn't affect you. Yeah. But you got to decide, okay, versus what we think we could get from him. Can he run it? And, you could put a trigger clause in there and go, if the profits drop below X, the business reverts back to us.
Well, that's another, I guess, factor too is, again, the emotional part of it. But my father was very proud. He did very good things and made a good living for us. But also, I think we're looking for a clean break in part of this process. And so, the sooner we could, as a family, move on from this.
So you're ready to take 200 instead of 600 if it's on the barrelhead, right?
If that's the only option, then that's possibly, it could be in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because you're probably, I don't know where you're going to find, you're now in the business brokerage business and you're already there, so you know what you're dealing with. I don't know what you can get. Yeah. But I'm
confident we could get other external offers, but again, we're just trying to figure out, does it make sense to give the employee the consideration to see if he'll,
doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like you believe in it.
Right.
He doesn't have the ability to go get $600,000, does he?
We haven't engaged with the bank yet, or if he's thought about getting a partner or an investor, but we haven't had that conversation yet. Probably
if he scrapes together a good offer, cash, he certainly could do it.
Sure.
But what you're saying is I don't believe him in enough to finance this.
Not seller finance, no sir.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yep.
And so I think, how long you been doing business brokerage?
Intentionally for about 2 years, but I've been similar space for close to 10.
Yeah. Well, you check me if I'm wrong, but I think a banker might look at him the exact same way you're looking at him.
That's the reason I'm trying to get other people to help talk to.
I mean, isn't that your experience in the business brokerage world?
It is.
The guy has to go in and sell himself to the banker as being competent to make the payments.
Correct. Yeah, it's not just about the numbers and the P&L.
Yeah, I doubt he's got a $600,000 or $500,000 or $400,000 asset he can pledge either.
Not that I know of.
Yeah. And if the real estate's not worth much, if you want to roll it in, give him a mortgage let the bank take a loan on that real estate, that might help him get the financing. Since the real estate's kind of weird and floodplainy and low into town and all that kind of junk. So, yeah, you got a lot going on, dude. I'm sorry. I don't have a magic wand for you, but I think you're down to, I think we have analyzed in this phone call that you don't want to carry seller financing with this guy, period. So now we're down to, can he bring in an investor? I'll give him a shot, but we're also putting it on the market. First guy here with the money wins the deal. And I'm not waiting around for 2 years while you run this thing and you lose your whole business brokerage career. And, of course, the other thing you can do is just sell off the assets and try to find somebody by the client list. Sell off the inventory, collect the receivables, pay the payables, close it. And that's book valuing the business. And you, again, as a business broker, know you can do that. But that's your worst case scenario. I'm putting it on the market, or I'll give him 30 days, and after that I'm putting it on the market and say, hey, you need to go get an investor or a bank. We can't sell her. Mom wants a clean break. Sorry, man. And so if you can get a bank loan or you can get an investor, or you can scrape the money together from your mama. I don't care where you get it, but, his mama, not yours. And so, that, just go and tell him you got 30 days to hook or crook, put this together, and if you can, I'm putting it on the market. And it's not that I hate you or something. I've just got to clean this up for Mom. And I'm trying to take care of her, dude. And, just have real clean, kind, clear conversations with him. Hey, good question. You're a good man for stepping in and helping your mama. Way to go. Good job, Colby. Good job. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast. 54% of the American economy, as measured by the gross domestic product, the GDP, the total of all goods and services produced in the United States of America, 54% of it is produced by small business. People with 500 or fewer team members. Largely, mostly, almost totally family-owned. These are families that get up every week, leave the cave, kill something, drag it home, and make payroll. Most Americans work for a small business. They don't work for Ford. They don't work for Amazon. Name whatever big conglomerate you want to name, put all of them together, they don't equal small business. Small business is the backbone, literally, mathematically, economically, of the United States economy. And Congress continues to just piss on us with every possible way with their tax changes and tax laws. We love small business. Yeah, none of us that pay your taxes believe it because we watch how you do us, how you treat us. But in spite of that, small business keeps on doing it. The free enterprise system is one of the best measures of actual liberty, actual freedom in America today. If you want to become a success, you can just decide you are. Open your computer or your garage door and go do something. These are the kind of people I talk to every day. These are the kind of people that I love and the kind of people that listen to this podcast. Thank you. The other thing that happens to us is we get some people running their own businesses don't keep enough other warriors in their lives, and it gets a little lonely. You're the only guy out there fighting by yourself, it feels like. And I'm here to remind you you're not. That's why I'm giving you these numbers. But also, there's nobody to really talk to when things are going good. Because if you brag to your broke relatives, they think that, you're just a bragger. And all you did is you just wanted somebody to be proud of the work you've done, proud of the fact you were successful. So we decided when we started this podcast, we're going to have some people on and brag. So if you run a small business, you want to call in here and brag, we want you to do it because we're proud of you. We're one of you, and we like when people win. We like when people make money. We like when people take care of their employees and their team members. We like when they love their customers well, which is what small business does. So this is your place to brag. Whitney's going to do that in Dallas. Hey, Whitney, brag a little for me.
Hi, Dave. I'm the president of an electrical contractor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We purchased this business about a year ago after listening to you 10 years ago tell us we needed to get out of my husband's family business. So we finally did it and have a business of our own. This year we're on track for $1.2 million in revenue.
Wow. What was it last year?
Well, last year for the last 3 months, I think it was 300.
Oh, you opened. And 1 year later, you're doing $1 million?
Yep.
Way to go!
We are working hard. The business, it was a pre-existing business, but it came with 7 team members.
Mm-hmm.
And only one of them has traded out. We've replaced one. But they are fantastic. Dave, I've got to tell you, they are the best people. They are easy to train. They are responsive. They love people. They love serving.
Sounds like they got a good leader to me.
Well, I just inherited them, but they are fantastic. And I am, trying to do our best not to screw them up.
Way to go. Way to go. So cool. So cool. So 2 years ago, you decided to leave the family business, and then you step into this one, and a year later, it's at $1.2 million.
Right.
Wow. Good for you. What do you attribute that to?
Well, like I said, we started listening to you decades ago, and we came to the Master Series event a decade ago with my brother-in-law,
mm-hmm.
and we got our why straight,
mm-hmm.
and the way we want to treat people
mm-hmm.
straight.
Mm-hmm.
And then we learned that we can use, I don't know much about electricity at all. That's my husband's. He's the product, right? But my job is the people. And if you raise a team and treat them right and make sure I have the best place to work, then I'm going to have a great team who serves our customers well.
Yeah. Yeah, it changes everything. That's called culture, right? And yeah, you change the whole world when you change your culture. I'm proud of y'all. Way to go. Way to go. So basically you reached a point that you guys didn't have the same values as the brother-in-law, and EntreLeadership kind of gave you that clarity, and you said, okay, we want to do it that way, and so we're going to have to go off on our own to be able to do it that way.
Right.
Yeah. Good for you. Way to go.
Terrifying move, but it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, John Johnson, the editor of Ebony Magazine, used to say the entrepreneur is the only person who can go from sheer terror to sheer exhilaration and back every 24 hours.
Right, several times.
Like a freaking roller coaster. It makes Disney World look tame. Yeah, that's just today.
Right. Since lunch, I think.
But how fun! How fun!
It is fun.
I mean, you're sitting there in Dallas, Texas. Life is good. Cashing $1 million worth of checks. Yeah, baby.
Yep.
I
we
like
took a
it.
vacation. We went away for a week.
Whoa, listen to
Came back
that.
and it was still rolling,
Yeah, that's called delegation. Man, you're amazing. Well done, well done, well done. I am so proud of you. Thank you for calling to brag. Hey, listen, I got to tell you, she did a couple of things that were terrifying. 3 things that were terrifying. 1, stepping away from family. That can be sticky. Then she opened a new business or bought into a new business that she'd never done. Oh, that's sticky. And then she took over 7 team members, and you don't know if they're donkeys or thoroughbreds. Turns out she got 6 thoroughbreds out of 7. That's pretty good stable. Pretty good. Only 1 donkey ejection. Not bad. Hit the eject button. Yeah, there he goes, right? He's gone then. Yeah, that's how this works, man. Way to go, Whitney. So proud of you. Very, very, very well done. Guys, call up here and brag anytime. The number is 844-944-1070. I don't know about you, but people like Whitney inspire me. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast. If you like what you hear, you could help me. I would appreciate it a lot. If you'll do the old internet thing there and follow the show or subscribe to the show, you know that stuff, right? That internet stuff. Yeah, click the subscribe button, the follow button. Might be a share button, or you might paste and copy the link and send it to somebody if you don't know how to do it. Either way, whatever it is, let people know we're here. You're our only marketing plan, so you're the only hope we got. Help us by following, subscribing, leaving a 5-star review. If you want to leave a 1-star review, you can, but that's just dumb. Don't take up your energy to do that. Go piss somebody else off. I don't care. So, but I do need the help with the algorithm. So leave a nice 5-star review. I'll smile and be nice. And you know, be sure you share the show. Thank you for doing that. Mike's in Denver. Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I am an engineer. I'm not a small business owner, but I wanted to let you know I've still gotten a ton of value out of listening to this podcast, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
I've been working with the same company for almost 15 years. I started with them right out of college, actually, and I am a consultant. So my role includes a combination of technical project execution, business development and sales, quality control, leadership, mentoring, that sort of thing. So over the past, say, 5 or so years, I've been managing a service line. I kind of think of that as my own little small business, and we've been successful. We're definitely growing. This year, we're going to end up doing around 3 to 3.5 million. I've got 4 other team members that I work with. So as we continue to grow, I'm observing that we're kind of reaching the capacity of how much business I personally am capable of bringing in. I am right now pretty much the only one bringing in work to the group. So I'm able to successfully delegate the project execution to my teammates, but I'm starting to struggle with delegating the business development responsibilities to my team.
If you doubled the amount of work coming in, can your team execute it?
Yeah, to a point. Maybe not. So I said right now I've got 4 other team members. We've kind of seen the writing on the wall and the growth, and my team is expanding. So yeah, if we double the amount of work that comes in, yes,
you'd have to staff up a little maybe, but you could pull it off.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so this is it's what you're calling development, marketing, sales, right?
Yeah.
You're going to the out, leaving the cave, killing it, bringing it home.
Exactly. Yeah, I spend a lot of time working with our clients, developing those relationships, talking with them, understanding what their problems are, and
how many clients do you all have to do 3.5?
Oh, I'd say a handful, maybe 15 to 20 ballpark.
Okay. And what type of business are the client? This is a B2B operation.
Yeah, so I mean, I work in the oil and gas industry, dealing with helping them maintain their equipment integrity.
So how do you find a new client?
Well, a lot of it comes through existing relationships within my larger organization. So, I've been working with a company that's relatively large. They're about, they do about 150 million in revenue a year, about 500, 600 employees. And then we even have a larger parent company that's gigantic. They're 20 billion, 45,000
But I mean,
employees.
if you hired someone to come along and learn what you do to bring more business in, what would they do?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I mean, I'm kind of indirectly answering your question, but hire an external hire in the past, we've struggled with it. So we haven't had a lot of success with like hiring like a full-time salesperson, or when we have people come in, it takes them time to kind of understand the business and the work that we do. Our work is very technical. Our clients are other
technical
engineers.
Sales needs an expert salesman. It doesn't need a salesman.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and that's a problem. So, and if you're going to sell laser-guided metal lathes, you need to hire somebody that knows something about laser-guided metal lathes, not somebody sold cars last week.
Exactly. Yeah. And so finding those people externally is difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible.
The oil and gas business is huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty tight-knit kind of area within oil and gas, in integrity.
So
but
where would you source the person? Because you got to staff it up, because you're logistically bottlenecked, you told me.
Yes.
So we got to staff it. How are we going to staff it then?
Well, I mean, in my mind, the solution is either to look externally, like we've been talking about a little bit, or internally. So, the people who I'm working with, my team members, are great, bright, smart, good engineers, but it takes, I'm trying to kind of go down the road of, leadership, mentorship, kind of developing them into supporting more of that role, but that takes time. That's kind of what I'm calling about, is maybe there's something I'm missing here, because I can see, it's an external hire. There's challenges.
When you started doing this, what was the size of the revenue? How many years ago?
So when I took over this specific kind of service line, it was just me and, maybe one other direct report, and we were just coming out of COVID. I mean, it was less than $1 million. We were, during COVID, it was just
okay. So you tripled it in 3 years. Had you ever been selling before?
Not in as large of a capacity. The selling is kind of what put me into this role. I'm as an engineer, I'm not naturally, somebody who wants to sell, but I found out I'm pretty good at it. So,
no, this is not selling. It's serving, and you're a good server. Yeah. A good salesman is a good server. And so what you need is a junior version of you, Mike. And don't look down on them, because just 36 months ago, you were them.
Yeah, so it sounds, I think long term.
Is that guy on your team, and you're just not giving him enough credit? I don't want him to start making $3 million. I want him to make $1 million.
So I have a person on my team who I'm kind of eyeing for that role, and he's, we're working towards getting him to the point where he can talk and interact with clients more directly, more often. Yeah. And he's getting there.
And you got to walk with him for 12 to 14 months, which you didn't have anybody. You just got thrown in the fire.
Yeah.
But at least you got you to help him walk to give him some people skills, give him some reading to do. Here's how we handle this. And, yes, you have to have the technical skills. Absolutely. That is 85% of this role. But 15% is people skills still. He's still got to be able to get along with others. He can't, he's actually got to smile and, that kind of stuff. And so, it's not glad handing or some kind of checkered coat sales or something, but it is a thing where you're building trust in our expertise and in the quality of humans that we are. And that's what gets you the business. And you got to get that guy in and start mentoring him and bring him up. The thing I have struggled with, and I've had this discussion not long ago with a couple of our leaders here, is I was having to, we've got some positions they needed to roll some people up into, and they're like, well, he's not ready, and I don't know. And I'm like, dude, he's so much more ready than you were when I put you in the role. So quit being such a snot, you know? And that was me talking to my guys. I'm not telling you that, Mike, but I might. No, I think you got a guy on the team that is probably more ready than you think, but I don't want you to turn him loose. We'll keep the training wheels on for a while. You walk along beside him, hold the back seat till he gets his balance. If you do take the training wheels off, but you can, and you have a reasonable expectation. The first year you didn't bring in 3.5. It took you 3-4 years to do that in a business development or sales or whatever we want to call this, or serving. So yeah, get them in the saddle, man, and be excited about it. I think it's an opportunity. You have found great. Listening to you talk, you are confident and competent at what you do, and you found great satisfaction in delivering the product, the high-quality product to these customers, and you serve them well, and you just want to make sure somebody else does it the way you do it. And the only thing you can do there is just walk with them. And when you trust their competence, to the extent you trust their competency and their integrity, both of which take a little time, is the extent that you can let go of the back seat and let the bicycle take off on its own. But until then, we're out of breath. We're running along beside them, trying to get the 4-year-old to get his balance. But that's okay. Everybody's a 4-year-old once. You were 36 months ago. I was 36 years ago. So there you go. And yeah, you're serve them. Serve the person that you're moving up, and trust them more than you think you can, and they'll live up to it. They'll step into those shoes. You're a good guy. You really are. You're really doing good work. I can hear it. I can tell by the way you're forming your sentences, putting this together, the quality of person you are. Serve the people you're leading. Serve your customers. And if you do that, you'll find a way to move this guy up, and he does need to move up. He's ready. Folks, remember, better a weary warrior than a quivering critic. This world needs more high-quality leaders, so take courage and lead. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thanks for listening to the EntreLeadership Podcast.